السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today we are going to be going over the shara't or the conditions for salah. So salah is obviously a special type of prayer which has been taught to our beloved Prophet Muhammad by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are 8 conditions that are to be observed before one performs salah. Without them, salah cannot be performed. And these 8 conditions are: to perform wudu if necessary, to make ghusl if necessary, tahara, cleanliness of entire body and of all clothing, tahara, cleanliness of the place where one intends to perform the salah, facing towards the qibla, covering of the private parts, the intention for salah, and performing the salah at the prescribed time. So if any one of these conditions is omitted, unless of course acceptable, salah will not be accepted. For example, if one cannot make wudu, has a medical condition, but he can make tayammum, that's fine, But, these conditions in one way or the other have to be fulfilled. For example, one cannot find the qibla, but he knows that according to the sun, that this is where northeast and this is where northeast will be from here. He finds it. But later on he finds out that he prayed in the wrong direction. It's not going to be as though his salah is not accepted. He made the utmost effort. Now, some other things which are in detail is a male's privates, they extend from the navel to the knee. That this is a must, you have to cover this. From the navel here to the knee, you must cover this. For the sisters, a female's privates, or what's considered satar, is the entire body except her face, hands, and the wrist. Now, tahara, cleanliness, means one's body should be free from all najasa, all filth and impurities. These shouldn't be on you, these shouldn't be on your clothing, so on and so forth. One should obviously face towards the qibla when you're performing the salah. And we are ordered to face towards the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Kaaba. And this is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Makkatul Mukarramah. And we want to have our chest facing this way. And salah is compulsory 5 times a day for all sane, adult, mature individuals. That once one reaches puberty, you cannot be like, well, I don't want to pray salah today. Then you will have to make it up. That it is a obligation. When does the time of salah come in? So various salahs come in at various different times. Obviously, in the winter time, salah times come in at different times, and then in summer they're different. But there's a general rule of how a salah time comes in. So the first question is, when does the time of Fajr begin and when does it end? So Fajr begins at early dawn and ends a little before sunrise. So not at sunrise. So if you wait till sunrise, you went too far. A little before sunrise. And then obviously we don't pray during sunrise. We don't pray during sunset. Those are times which we don't pray, right? We don't pray when the sun is right above us. Right? These are times when we don't pray. So we end a little bit before. And then, like for example, if somebody wants to pray the, Ishraq, which is the one after Fajr, Ishraq, right? So you will wait for those 10-15 minutes to pass, sun rises, and then you can pray those, 2 rakah, 4 rakah, whatever you're wanting to pray. So when does the Dhuhr time begin and when does it end? Dhuhr time begins past noon, and it ends at the time that the shadow of any object becomes twice the length of the object plus the original shadow that there was at midday. That is Dhuhr. So the other time, according to the Hanafis, it comes when the Dhuhr time finishes. This is for everybody. Dhuhr time finishes, this is when Asr begins. But what does this mean? It means that obviously when the shadow of any object becomes twice the length of the object plus the original shadow. Now to delay Asr Salah until the color of the sun has turned pale yellow is makruh. Now what does this mean? This basically means that 10 minutes, 12 minutes before Maghrib Salah. We should not delay it so much. Now if obviously somebody was sick or somebody was traveling and they could not stop, they have some acceptable excuse. You should still pray it, but you shouldn't delay it ever. When does Maghrib Salah time begin? From after sunset up to the time the redness fades on the horizon. So generally speaking, Maghrib time to Isha time, depending, on the degree calculation, is, last about 75 to 90 minutes after Maghrib. When does the Isha time begin? And now I'm not giving these answers based on what I like. I'm giving these answers based on what the Shaykh has written. Isha time begins after redness of the horizon disappears, about an hour and a half after sunset, and lasts up to a little before Subh Sadiq, which means before Fajr time. Now one should not delay their Isha that late. It is mustahab to read Isha time before 1/3 of the night is passed. It is makruh to delay the Isha Salah until after midnight. So we should always pray them in the time in which they come in. And we should make this a habit. Like if we live far from the masjid, we're not able to come to the masjid, you know you're not going to be able to make it. Like Dhuhr every day, you have to pray at work. Dhuhr time in the winter time right now comes in at something like 12:30, 12:35. You take your lunch break, 12:45, pray it immediately. Do not delay your salah until the end of time. Because then if you forget, something comes up, you get busy, you will miss it altogether. And you don't want to do that. Now what are the forbidden times? One is sunrise. The second is zawal, which is midday. This is a forbidden time. And the third is the sunset. That these are 3 times in which we cannot pray at all. We should not pray at all. Avoid it at all cost. So jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.